And of course, this is your election headquarters. We've got everything covered for you from now till the declaration of results after the voting on Saturday. Now, we are just going to talk to the political parties now to tell us what they are up to. We've just 3 days to go for the polls. They've been campaigning for months now. Their message, has it got into where those messages are supposed to be? We're going to have that discussion. Another story we are keeping an eye on this afternoon is the fact that if you live in the Bono regional capital, Sunyane, if you are in the Volta regional capital, Ho, if you are in the Eastern regional capital, Koforidua, also known as the New Jobbim South Municipal Assembly, or if you are in Wa, in the Upper West regional capital, the update from the local government ministry is that the president has given an executive approval for these municipalities, Ho municipality, Sunyane municipality, New Jobbim South municipality, that's Koforidua, and one municipality. They've been upgraded to metropolitan status, and we will get the local government and rural development minister to explain why. There's also an upgrade from district to municipality status, and that's the Offenso North Municipal Assembly, Brim North District Assembly, and of course, Karaga District Assembly. So 4 elevated from municipality to metropolis status, that's Wa, Koforidua, Sunyane, and Ho, and from district to municipality, Offenso North, Brim North, and of course, Karaga District. We want to understand why now, when the minister joins us, we'll explain. But we've just a day left before the campaign season officially ends. Political parties are in a final sprint to win over voters ahead of the December 7 election. The rallies, promises, and debates have dominated the political landscape, but now the focus shifts to the voters, and the result of the poll will tell if indeed their message trickled down well enough. Today, we are engaging some of the political parties' representatives as we explore their reflections on the campaign journey and their closing messages to Ghanaians as the nation counts down to election day. Joining me in the studio is Courage Nobi, Deputy Director for the Movement for Change. Courage, you're welcome.
Thank you, Elton.
You still look fresh, just by the fact that it's been a very, weeks and months of campaigning.
True. The grace of the Lord sustains us.
Okay.
Yes, what we are doing is for God and country, and so He provides the grace for us to be able to do it in good health.
We'll see if that grace will put you in the Jubilee House on January 7. Also in the studio, a citizen, Atodagzi, General Secretary, Grace Consolidated Popular Party. You're welcome, boss.
Thank you. And good to see you, Elton.
Yeah, good to see you.
It's been a while.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And good to see my brother, Courage. And good afternoon to our cherished viewers.
We'll also be joined by the CPP presidential candidate, Akusia Komankoma, and of course, the other political parties are also jostling for the presidency and parliament. So, get consolidated. Let me start with you, citizens. So, how has it been?
It's been challenging. It's been very tough. I mean, everyone who has followed politics and campaigning in Ghana for some time now will realize that this has been a very different one. It's been different for several reasons. It's been different because of the economic challenges that we face. It's been very difficult raising resources for campaigning. So it has changed the dynamics of how campaigning is. Aside that, I mean, the average Ghanaian voter, the dynamics of an average Ghanaian voter has also changed. So you can't do the usual things once again. Even in COVID, we were saying that we shouldn't even have mammoth rallies. Right. There were mammoth rallies.
But this time
around, you are not seeing that.
I think 2 days ago, whilst discussing the news angles for some of our bulletins, somebody passed a comment that we are almost close to the election day, yet big stories are not coming. What is happening?
Exactly. Because you can't, you see, we are saying we are in hard times. So based on what are you going to do those kind of rallies? Based on what? And truly, it's not...
the others, I mean, they're everywhere. Nana Kwame Bediako he's gone to all the constituencies.
Yes, you can ask for being everywhere. You can be.
John Mahama has done same.
You can be, but as I said, it's not the same as we had seen in previous years. Even COVID, when COVID was there, I mean, it's very different. And you see, like I always say, the average Ghanaian voter has changed. The dynamics is different. So this is more an engaging time where you need to engage people to understand the realities beyond what the average things that we always talk about, exchange rate, whatever. There's more of engagement that you need to do.
But your candidate, is he really out there? Because not much.
Yes, he's out there. He's out there. And you see, for us as a party, there is one thing about us that is outshining, is that everybody now is even paying lip service to what GCPP has always stood for, domestication. If you look at all the manifestos of all political parties, everybody is saying something in relation to domestication. And some of them have been charitable enough to actually mention our founder as somebody that they have learned his ideals, and probably they felt it wasn't espoused well. Therefore, they have taken bits and pieces of it to go on. Okay. For us as a party, one of the critical things for us is to drum home that for Ghana to develop, whether we like it or not, every government comes and say they are laying a solid foundation. For over 30 years, the foundation has not been laid.
Right.
We need to lay that solid foundation for us to move on. And the only way of laying the solid foundation is through domestication.
We'll come back to talk about the key issues, because from what we are seeing, from polls conducted by almost every reputable individual organization, what stood out in almost all of them is the fact that Ghanaians are interested in who has the plan to sort of improve our economy and create jobs. So we'll come to deal with that. But let me pick your initial comments. I understand Alan is in the Bono region.
Yes.
And how's it going, Courage?
Yeah, quite well. It's been very busy final week, as you anticipated. He was in the Western region 2 days ago. Yesterday, he was in Central region, and he's in the Bono region. Today, I'm sure tomorrow, he will end in Ashanti region, hopefully.
Why the Ashanti? Why so much focus on the Ashanti region? I do understand that in terms of voter population, if we take the Greater Accra region out, Ashanti region is the second with the largest voter population. Is that a reason? Or is it also because it traces route to the Ashanti region?
Not just that, but one of the things that we've all known Alan Kyerematen for is a strategic thinking and acting nature. And so when you look at the dashboard, you want to prioritize certain places for obvious reasons, you know, and that informs his rounds and his strategy. What is clear is that in this campaign, we have been clear in our messaging. We have led the policy and the solutions conversation. As far back as June, we put out a great transformational plan, which details out how we hope to solve the economic problems of high inflation, high interest rates, poor currency performance internationally, and the like. So we've looked at the key issue of jobs and how we are going to create jobs through industrialization, through tourism, through agriculture, and through innovative ways of financing public services without borrowing, which is what the MPP and the NDC know. Borrow and spend, most of which gets locked in, siphoning into private pockets through sole sourcing, which Alan Kyerematen has said that he's going to abolish because it makes room for a lot of corruption that drains the public coffers and denies the ordinary persons of essential services. So the young people who have been our focus, I mean, I've been clear, they've heard our policies, our pragmatic approaches to creating jobs for them. And we are hopeful that if indeed jobs is what they need, it should reflect in the votes come this Saturday.
So, Ato, what is your party, the GCPP? What's the plan in terms of, you know, revitalizing the economy and also create jobs?
So, like we said, when I nearly said when the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. But that is the situation, all right? The reason why we are still marking time is that our fundamentals are weak. We kept saying that we understood the problem, that we have an economy that is dependent on importation. Right? How are you fixing it? What is the deliberate plan of Ghana to fix it? And that is our plan, that we need to fix that import-driven economy. And you can only do that when you are producing in country. And that is that concept of domestication. If you are producing in country, then you are giving room for us to produce for the people to consume and then export the rest so that you can get another flow of income coming in. Because you can only pay your debt. Mind you, Ghana, we are not paying our debt, servicing our external debt.
We actually postpone it.
So
some are showing in 2026.
Exactly. So if we want to be able to be in a position to pay our debt, we need to find a way to generate revenue. And you can't be generating revenue in country when you keep on importing. That is not the way to go. So we need to fix our economy. We need to fix the issues of the imports.
This government started the One District, One Factory. I'm sure the reason was to add value to some of our primary products.
What is lacking is the supply chain. And that's why we say we will create a ministry for logistics and supply chain and transport. The reason is that there is no linkage. So you've created One District, One Factory. Let's say we've created all. Right? Let's give that we've created all. What is feeding those industries? What is the linkage? This time you are doing planting for food and jobs. You are doing One District, One Factory, yet you get shortages in our schools that they don't even have food. You are doing one constituency, one warehouse. What is the linkage? So if there is a supply chain, if that link is not broken, then you could see that if we are farming, we are supplying to our warehouses, we are eating what we can, the rest is going to the warehouses, some are going to export, some are going to the industry, and then you can see that you are creating jobs. But when there's no linkage, it looks like you are just putting ad hoc, and I always say we use ad hoc measures to solve entrenched problems.
I asked about the One District, One Factory, and you say that the supply chain is simply not there.
Yeah.
Doesn't that question Alan's own approach to this matter?
Not at all. I think...
because he credited himself as being one of those that really promoted this.
I think...
But you put that under one. If I'm responsible to create, let's say, factories or industrialization, I'm doing that. Somebody is in charge of agric. What is the person's responsibility? So that is where that linkage... See, Ghana, we have a challenge. It's got nothing to do with, let's say, just a minister. We have a challenge where even the ministries that we are creating are duplicating and not understanding how they should work together.
Right.
There was a situation where Trade Fair was fighting Ghana Cylinders because Ghana Cylinders were storing cylinders at Trade Fair and they've not paid for it. What is the synergy? How are we working together?
What is your approach to this matter? If indeed moving from export-led economy is what we are all gearing towards? Or moving from import-led economy to an export-led one?
I think the key thing is to look at your economy and prioritize. First of all, if you cannot feed yourself, you can't even begin the conversation about being sovereign. You know, we are spending presently $2 million weekly to import onion. So if you are implementing...
From Niger and Burkina Faso.
Yes, if you're implementing policies, what you need is policy coherence and synergy, such that, like you said, agriculture is connecting to industrialization and is connecting to services. You need to have that clearly spelled out. And the only way to assure that is to have a lean government that has a lean system that is efficient. So efficiency has been lacking in this government. And part of the problem is because you do not have central control. You don't have central control. And without that, everybody does what they want, you know. And so the reason why you don't also have central control is because you presently have a government which has silos ministries that are self-serving. Nobody is checking anybody. Corruption has taken the center stage. And when corruption takes the center stage, then even policies like Plan for Food and Jobs, all the benefit gets chipped off. Can you imagine 2.5 billion cedis has been spent, and yet we don't have food. We don't have even rice to feed our students, and we are feeding them expired imported rice. You know, so really, if you look at it, the singular thing that connects all of this that will make it work is a leadership of integrity, a leadership that is able to keep to what ought to be done and gets it done. And I think that is where Alan Kyerematen stands tall when you look at the key contestants in this election.
And Elton, is it not sad that you are doing a school feeding program, right, where you can get your people to farm and feed those schools so that you are giving them money, you are giving them capital, yet you are spending money importing the rice for a program that could serve the interests of your people and change the economy.
Well, I'm guessing that you've been on this talk for months now. Now we've got 3 days to go. So what is the focus now? Let me start with you, Mr. Dagzi.
In fact, for us, in wrapping up, one of the key things that I look beyond this election, and as a General Secretary, one of the key things I do is to look beyond now we are about just 2 days to the election.
In fact, you have 2 days to campaign.
Yes.
In
fact, we have only tomorrow to campaign.
Tomorrow to campaign. And then so tomorrow there's a moment.
You understand?
For the
so I say that our fate will be determined on Saturday.
On Saturday.
Beyond that,
what is the target for the GCPP?
Oh, in fact, our plan for parliamentary candidates, we selected some 10 constituencies.
Only 10 constituencies. Yes. You are targeting?
Yes. And we are being very realistic because, like I said, I mean, if you look at the plans that we've done over the years and we look at, let's concentrate on at least getting some people into parliament to start from there. So we targeted 10. Hopefully, I mean, we can get what we want. If we are lucky enough to win the presidential, so be it. What we have done is that some political parties that we identify in terms of ideology, where we do not have parliamentary candidates, we are working together. I was in Okre to campaign for the CPP parliamentary candidate in Okre. The reason being that we see some form of synergies. We see some form of ideologies that we share. So we are saying beyond 2020, we should go beyond the parliamentary and even work together as presidential. When I was sitting here with Courage, yes, some of the things that
you agree.
We agree.
But the question is, so, what would be your response to those who say that, I mean, you are only adding up to the numbers?
Well, if we're adding up to the numbers, we wouldn't have couched out a fantastic idea that has become something that everybody is running to. See, I think what we've not understood is because of some of the other political actors, their actions and inactions, that makes it look like all of us. GCPP has been very specific for all these years.
Of course.
And whatever that we have said, people have now seen the light and are coming towards it.
Let me allow
so for us,
actually a lighter question I'll ask you.
Sure,
I mean,
sure.
A lot of people don't understand why. It looks like when it comes to GCPP, you have to be a member of the Latin clan before you can become a presidential candidate.
Oh, no.
I'll come back because after...
Probably Elton will be our next presidential candidate.
After there was Henry and now there is Augustus Latin.
Done.
I'll come back to I'll come so that you can provide some answers for it. But you've got just a day to so convince Ghanaians. What is the focus now for the movement?
I think the focus for us has been trying to get our systems ready, systems of monitoring, to ensure that the outcome is what the people of Ghana want. We have been worried about some of the developments that characterize the
special voting, yes.
Yes, I mean, vote buying, open vote buying. I've seen the one of my MP, Ayoaso West Wogon. You know, very unfortunate. They're glad the special prosecutor is on it. But we've also observed severe cases of misinformation on the part of the ruling party and its people on social media, you know, against our candidates and against some of the things that we're seeing. We're worried about that because if anything else, the government should be involved in that. And also attempts to gag certain elements of the society, you know. Unfortunately, we've had Archbishop Charles Ajinasare come under a barrage of attacks from particularly MPP elements on social media today, which is unfortunate because he, like every Ghanaian, is free to solicit support for any of the candidates and on any basis.
Why is he under attack?
For saying that some of his members or some, I think it's a particular platform of church leaders, that they should vote for the Christian and a non-Muslim. And what baffles me is the hypocrisy.
But we don't need that now. Do we need that?
Of course, he as a pastor has a reason to say that. Alan Martin said, vote for a Christ-like leader, and he came under attack. Archbishop says, vote for a Christian, he's coming under attack. However, Sheikh Ibrahim Nyama said that Muslims should vote for Alhaji Bama because he's a Muslim. And nobody was attacking him. That kind of hypocrisy doesn't augur well for political discourse. So if a Muslim is free to call for Muslim to vote for a Muslim, why shouldn't a Christian leader be free to call for Christians to vote for a Christian?
I understand, but I don't think that we need this at this very time.
But you see, nobody should be gagged
from expressing their own views.
Yeah, like that. So we find all of those things unfortunate. We have been focused on the issues of the day that matter, particularly on the need for a leader of integrity, a leader who is Christ-like. Alan Martin presents that kind of leadership. We are saying that no matter the beauty of policies you put on a paper. It takes character to be able to implement it. In 2016, we saw, and I was on the campaign trail for the MPP at the time, beautiful policies on paper. What has become of those? You know, beautiful rhetorics. What has become of it? It is simply because integrity has been lacking in the office of the presidency. And that is what Alan Chimate is presenting. Market women have heard what we have for them. Students have heard what we have for them. Young entrepreneurs, young businessmen, you know, have heard what we have for them. Ultimately, they have the right to determine which of the candidates deserves to rule.
We'll be wrapping up. So the Electoral Commission, are you okay with the way things have panned out so far?
Are you setting me up?
No, I just think you are a major stakeholder.
One of the things I can say is that the Electoral Commission staff, they've worked so hard, especially those at the top. They've worked so hard.
I think in terms of transparency, they've been very transparent this time. Or
when you say that, it means as if in the past they've not been. But there has been issues, and it's expected. Some of them are avoidable.
Right.
Okay. Some of them, and I've told them in their faces, these are avoidable mistakes that you're making. See, you could tell that they want to tell a story and leave a legacy. They are working I didn't want to use the word ASS out, right? They're really working hard to ensure that we have an election that we can all be proud of. But there have been gaps, and we implore them that please, let's keep the communication lines open. I always tell them, if you leave room for us political actors to fill, we will fill it for you.
Right.
So don't anything communicate. Let's keep the communication channels open so that we can all work together. Because at the end of the day, we want anybody who is beaten to realize that I've been beaten.
Yeah, free and fair.
Yes.
Terrible.
It should be a fair playing field. However, they've been sometimes unfair to some of us. It looks like the elections, the stakeholders are seeing these elections as between NDC and MPP. So there's not a level playing field for all of us. You go for your accreditation tax, NDC and MPP are receiving this number, and the other parties are receiving that number. I mean, I think these things need to be ironed out well. And all of us have a part to play.
You feel you are being discriminated?
Sometimes.
Sure.
And there have been...
Is the accreditation the only concern?
In fact, sometimes you even go to IPAC meetings, NDC and MPP will speak for 1 hour or 45 minutes each. And when you are speaking, hurry up 2 minutes. You understand? When you do that, you are not giving me the room. And that's what we've continuously fed Ghanaians. I always say this. I have a popular saying that Ghana is not a duet. We've done this auto treble and we are giving discord. Ghana is an orchestra where every instrument has a part to play. That is only when we can have the harmony that we need to develop this country.
All right.
If you leave it to these two people, that's what we are seeing.
The EC. I think we have had cause to be worried about the conduct of the EC, and it ties in with some of the views expressed by citizens here. For me, the most blatant of all is that we received written communication last week that some ballot papers that had problems doing printing were going to be discarded on a certain day. It said 30th November 2024, which was Saturday.
Right.
At 10 a.m. Our agents got there at 8:30, only to be told that it actually took place the day before. Meanwhile, the EC communicated to us in writing that's happening on the 30th.
There was no follow-up?
Nothing. No follow-up communication that said that, oh, there's been change in plans or anything. Earlier, I remember concerning the compilation of the register and whether to audit or not to audit. We sent a written petition, a written submission to the Electoral Commission. It's been weeks. We are yet to receive any reply to our concern or to our letter. The Constitution makes room for an individual, a person, to be elected as president. Some choose to come by the vehicle of a political party. Others choose to come as independent candidates. Why should that be a crime? Why should the Electoral Commission discriminate against independent candidates just because they are not coming with political parties or the political parties are not perceived to be big enough? I think it has a lot to do to open up the democracy of the country. And it's not even peculiar to just the EC. You know, I think JoyNews has tried really to open up its systems for engagement. But some media houses, you know, have blatantly just blacked out on the movement for change, for example. I can name Peace FM. I can name Good Morning Ghana on Metro TV. I'm naming them because it is fact. So you can verify from them. My point is that all of us are players in the democracy. So for the fourth estate of the realm, and this is experiential, you know, for them to have just simply blocked out, you know, somebody even told us, oh, our platform is for MPP and NDC. Are you committed to the democracy of the nation, or you are committed to political parties, or some political parties? You know, so if we want to really have a thriving democracy, I think all of us must show commitment in the way we conduct ourselves. Okay. And that's why the Electoral Commission has a lot more to do to ensure that the outcome of this election is peaceful. Because whichever way we perceive them would inform how people will act after the elections. Whether they will deem the results credible or otherwise is dependent on the conduct of the commission.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Courage. So, Mr. Dazi, before you go, do I have to be a latte before I can lead the GCPP?
But I think
not at all.
It is fair that I indicate that Alan Chematin is 13 on the ballot, and it is Asieho. He's the last on the ballot. So just look for the last person there, Asieho, and vote for meaningful change that will bring you jobs and create an enterprise economy for everybody to thrive. Thank you.
So back to my question.
Well, you don't need to be a latte. It was a strategic move.
And then Henry, and now Augustus.
No, the only thing that happened, that we were going into this election with Henry. Okay. Unfortunately, he fell sick.
He's also a latte.
He fell sick at last minute, and if we were going to bring a new person, marketing that person would have been a challenge. So it was a strategic move to have Danny on board, especially.
It's not because you have to be a family member before you can.
No, because Danny bears the name of the founder of the party and makes it easy for us to even sell him than anybody else. Because Daniel Augustus Latte Jr. So on the 7th of December, as you go to the ballot, number 2 on the ballot, number 2, too sure, 2 for peace. Just vote for Dr. Daniel Augustus Latte Jr. It's a vote for domestication. You are not wasting your vote. It's your vote to believe that you believe in domestication and you believe that Ghana should be run differently from how it has been.
I appreciate your time, gentlemen. Citizen Atodagzi, General Secretary of the GCPP, and of course, Courage Nobi with the movement for change. Hopefully, we'll have this discussion again after the elections on Saturday to see where the smoothness level will be.
Sure.
We will take a short break here on the pause and return with more on your election headquarters.